Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Coco and Daltz. We are real people bringing you real reviews of all the latest streaming TV shows and movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. I'm not Daltz.
And I'm not Coco.
And today we are reviewing Down to Earth with Zac Efron. Daltz, you want to let us know what that was all about?
So Zac Efron has a special on Netflix, special limited series, a docu-series, as the terminology says. And it's 8 episodes, and he goes around the world with his bro, Darren, and they go to these...
Not his actual bro.
Not his, bro as in the modern term, not as in
We are
related.
literally brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are not of the same mother. And they go around the world and look at different kinds of, alternative energy and alternative means of generating food and all that sort of thing. So they're looking to solve the world's problems in 8 episodes. And they go to Iceland, and they go to Sardinia, and they go to Costa Rica, and they go to Puerto Rico. And it's a beautiful travel show. The episodes are 25 minutes long. Is that about right? No.
They're like 30 to maybe 50 minutes long.
Okay. So not 25 minutes long.
Close to 25 minutes long.
Yeah, not close at all, really, but thank you. So they're less than an hour long, these episodes.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's essentially Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Is what it is. What did you think about it, Coco, before I go into it a little bit more in depth?
A huge focus, obviously, is climate change. When they were in Paris, they went to a water treatment plant because apparently Paris has water stations throughout the city where you can bring your own water bottle and you can just fill it up, and it's actually good water. It's not crummy municipal water that tastes like hell.
And you can get actually bubbly water, too,
yeah,
if you want to.
You can get like Perrier.
Like Perrier on the tap.
Yeah, that's amazing.
On the street.
And when they went to Iceland, they went to some like geothermal energy plant that's completely like carbon neutral and stuff. So there was, and in Costa Rica, they went to this farm that was completely self-sustaining. They grew all their own food. They even had a school. They had, teachers. They taught the kids. It was all super awesome. But as Daltz said, like, I don't know if these were necessarily the two messengers for this particular message. Like Darren
Olean.
Zach's bro, he's like a health guru type guy. He wrote a book on superfoods, and I just found out in my limited Googling of him that he also was the developer of Shakeology, which is the Beachbody shake that they sell.
He's in good shape.
Yeah, he's in very good shape.
Yep.
I have issues with Shakeology and Beachbody, which I will not go into on this podcast because this is not a fitness industry podcast. This is an entertainment podcast.
Well, and also because the lawyers waved us off that.
Right. So Darren, I felt, did have some kind of knowledge that he could bring to it when they were talking about like sustainable food sources and stuff. He did ask some good questions here and there, but Zac Efron just mostly kind of served to be like, what? You can eat worms? Like, mind blown. Like, he was just, we had an actual conversation in, I think, around the 3rd episode where it was like, Zac Efron, baked or just dumb? So we weren't really sure like what the story was there,
and we don't get a resolution on that by the end either.
Yeah, no, we really don't find out,
because he just kind of looks at Darren every now and then, like you said, and he's like, whoa. Right. Like, there's no insightful commentary there. Like, so where I am with Zac is very earnest, and I appreciate the fact that. So I think what happened is Netflix came to him and said, "Let's do a series on travel," and then he went to Darren, who he had befriended after a TED Talk. Darren had given a TED Talk, and Zac was there, and they became pals. And Zac said, "Let's use this for good, not evil."
Yeah, I think his heart is in the right place,
right, exactly.
But I think also because he has a name that pretty much everybody under like your age and under is going to know because of High School Musical. That was also part of the appeal of having him host it, because it would have been like a lot drier if it was hosted by scientists or journalists,
right. Or just Darren by himself.
But like, I just don't his heart was in the right place, but there just wasn't a lot of value added by having him there, unless he was supposed to be like the everyman who was like, dude, what, pollution is a thing? Like, what? Mind blown.
He does the mind blown sign language thing. Like in one episode, he does it twice. And there's also some very interesting. So Darren was great, and like you said, Coco, he was the one asking the questions, and he was the one essentially helping us learn about stuff. And Darren was just along for the ride. A couple of the reviews I read online were about how dreamy Darren was, or how dreamy Zac was, and I was offended because, like, okay, if this is Anna Kendrick makes an appearance in one of the episodes. So if Anna Kendrick is instead the one hosting this, and we're talking about how dreamy she is, I was like, that's kind of insulting. Like, really, is he just there for eye candy? So Zac is there for eye candy, but he's also driving the story because he's learning about a lot of these things around the world, and he's trying to bring this knowledge back to the United States in terms of sustainability and renewable energy and all these kind of great ideas. I think the approach is admirable. I think the idea is admirable, but man, oh man, it was hard to watch sometimes. It was laughable because here are these two Yankee guys around the world. Like there's one scene where they're having dinner in this beautiful restaurant in Peru, I believe it was. And it was very, it was a 5-star Michelin or 4-star Michelin restaurant. And there's Zac sitting there with his backwards baseball cap, his t-shirt, and his ripped jean shorts. And they're sitting there and they're like, whoa, what is that? It looks like a worm. It just...
There were a lot of times when you could see, like, the Europeans especially were just thinking, like, these effing Americans. Yeah. Like, you could really...
taken aback by the whole... It's like, oh, here we go again with the Americans.
Like, if it weren't for the fact that my cause is getting, like, its profile raised through this thing, like, I would have no time for this whatsoever. I'm having to put up with these obnoxious Americans.
Like, I've been to Peru, and one of the things that was told to me is that don't wear a baseball cap and don't wear shorts, because it's disrespectful, and it's also very obvious. Like, you're going to get your wallet lifted. Because it's clear that you're not from there. So I try to blend in a little bit. But it was clear that these guys were not interested in that at all, like walking around. And again, with the backwards baseball cap, and Zac's like, whoa, look at that. It's like a mountain. Like it was really funny to watch. And again, I think Zac, like you said, I think his heart is in the right place in this. And if you're marginally interested in saving the planet, which hopefully that's everybody on this podcast, because
it's on fire, people,
right? And by the end of it, there's a heartbreaking scene with Darren that is it's just I don't want to spoil it, but it underlines the whole point of the show accidentally. And he specifically says, this has now brought it home to me. Like, I go to Puerto Rico and I see the damage of the hurricanes, and we go to these other places and we see what climate change has wrought. And now this has happened to me as well. And this has brought home like a sense of urgency for me now to do something. But then they didn't really say, like, now we're going to go lobby Congress. Now I'm going to start like the Zac Efron Foundation, and I'm going to try to figure out ways to bring a geothermal energy plant to Wyoming to power like the Western United States. There was no
or whatever.
Next step there. Yeah,
there was nothing there. It was just like, seriously, I wonder if like these two were just like, hey man, like let's go on vacation and have Netflix pay for it.
Right.
And the last few episodes especially, they leaned very heavily into like the sponsors. Like, they're sitting at that Michelin starred restaurant in Peru, and the napkin holder has a gigantic Visa logo on it.
Right.
And there were many shots of him like paying with his Visa card. And I'm like, they're not paying. Like
is he actually going into the restaurant and paying for it? I don't think so.
No, like that.
And there's many shots where TripAdvisor is the logo is in the foreground as they were walking in the background and stuff like that, and it was a little bit artificial.
And they're booking flights on kayak, and I'm like, bro, come on, like you're
you're booking your flight. Like Zac Efron is actually pushing the button on that one. There's no way.
Like the production company is setting all this up. Come on,
exactly. So, and they're not going to the restaurant unless they get free grub for everybody. So
like the first couple episodes, like, they're in a chocolate shop in Iceland, and he pays for it, and I'm like, okay, whatever, But
on
then
the way out kind of thing,
but then like the last 4 episodes, it was like nonstop in your face: Visa, TripAdvisor, kayak, Virgin Atlantic, and I was like, oh my god, like the money ran out,
Yeah, and it kind of really felt like it was I mean, the style of the documentary is the shaky camera, and outtakes are making the edit and stuff like that. And I understood the style, what they were going for, but it just kind of felt sloppy to me. It felt like it was high school musical production. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know, but
we just did the fist bump and blew it out. You can't say that.
It just felt, it was annoying to me. Like, are we on? Is this taping? This isn't going in the show, is it? It was like, yes, it's in the show. Very funny. But it just felt like padding, because some of the episodes, I think some of the episodes were in the 35-minute range, and some of them were in the 50-minute range. So it was, again, I know I've said this in past podcasts, it doesn't have to be 45 minutes every time.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but it just, some of the episodes, there was one episode where we watched, and it was like, what? Was that even an episode?
Yeah, the Lima episode. It was episode 5. It was 33 minutes. And at the end of it, we were like, that's like a totally throwaway episode.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even spend the whole episode in Lima. They started the episode in New York at the Angry Orchard apple farm, where like the apples actually go to make, Angry Orchard cider.
Which had what to do with what they were doing in Lima.
And then they started talking about the genome of the apple being traced back to Kazakhstan or something.
Yeah, so I thought they were going to go to Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
No, they went to Lima instead.
Yeah, and they went to
had nothing to do with apples.
Yeah, and they went to like a potato factory or something.
Well, because I knew that they were going to go to the potato thing, because I'm excited about potatoes. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, potatoes, come on.
And potatoes are, the French for potato is pomme de terre, which is apple of the earth. So I thought maybe that's why they were doing the apples, but that was way too deep for this show. Like it was just accidentally, apples at the beginning, apple and pear, and maybe a potato. I don't know.
Like, let's go drink some cider before we get on our kayak booked flight to Lima and go look at some frozen potatoes. Like,
and when the opening scene is Zac staring at a sign that says, "What if there was no potatoes in the world?" And he's like, "Oh no French fries!" Like, what an American standing there thinking about the French fries.
I'm American, and I would totally do that too. I'd be like, no, or no vodka, maybe. Like,
you'd be more about the vodka.
Yeah, that's true. Go from cider to vodka.
I just, having said all this stuff, well, and I should also mention why we watched it in the first place. We watched it in the first place because we're sort of out of stuff to watch that is interesting to us, that's not about mass murder or like babysitter, like one end of the scale or the other. Right. So this is kind of right in the middle of that. And I said to Coco, I said, come on, let's watch it. And Coco was like not down with it at all.
I just wasn't interested. And then Daltz gave me a little stick about how we always watch what I want to watch. And I was like, well, you're right about that. Okay, I'll watch this.
Just watch one of my GD shows. Would you just indulge me? And actually, I know this is going to be held against me because I didn't really want to watch it. It wasn't like Blade Runner Part 3 or something like that, and I dragged you, kicking and screaming into it. I was like, well, all right, let's just watch Dreamy Zac go around the world, and it'll be fine. There's 8 episodes. It's not going to be a huge investment. And so we both reluctantly, Coco more than me, went into this docuseries. And it was fine. We finished it, and now we're going to watch a mob documentary.
Right. Stay tuned for that, kids.
As we're right back at it in the grisly podcast genre. So it was not an enthusiastic watch, but we got out of it what we put into it, I think.
And it was obvious that neither one of us was super into it, because there were multiple times when Daltz would pick up his phone and he would text somebody. And we were also, they were like 35-minute long episodes, and we were stopping at like 4 times to go to the bathroom or go get seconds for dinner.
Or check for a package at the door from
right, totally, like
Amazon.
If there's something that we're interested in, we'll stop at once. Maybe,
yeah.
And this one, like, seriously, there was one episode we stopped it like 4 times. So neither one of us was super into it.
And you can also miss parts of these episodes and not really, like if you need to get up and go to the bathroom, and they're only 35 to 50 minutes long. So theoretically, you shouldn't miss any of it. But you could probably get up and, come back and Zac's looking at a smoke detector going, wow, they have those here too.
Yeah. Oh, Hilton. Hilton was another product placement, because I think the Lima episode, they were sitting on their rooftop pool with the Hilton sign prominently in the background, like meditating.
And that was where the bee sanctuary was in New York. They showed a Hilton. You remember that? There was one scene where they panned across the Hilton, and then they went to the bee hive area.
So other corporate sponsors got their money's worth.
Yeah, so there was not a lot of, Zac's not slapping down the Visa.
No.
And it was funny seeing him do that repeatedly. Is like, that Visa doesn't look like it has anybody's name on it. Like,
Right, like my debit card, my name is worn off.
it was one of those ones that it was like cardboard cutout that they send you. It's like,
Right.
you could win this, or sign your application and you could have this card. Like Zac Efron doesn't have a blue Visa card. He's got like one of those.
He's got a black Amex.
He's got a black Amex, exactly. One of those carbon fiber ones that he's flashing around to the girls. So yeah, I think that bottom line overall, Coco, what do you think about this series?
I don't have to watch it again. It's
Oh, really?
fine. Yeah, it is what it is. I did learn some stuff for sure. Like the geothermal thing in Iceland was pretty cool. The Paris water thing was super duper cool. Like there was in London, they're building garden walls on the sides of buildings, like not only to beautify the space, but also, plants are good for the environment.
Right.
They suck up CO2. And I said to Daltz, I was like, because they actually built like one of these, like Zach and Darren did. And it was super easy. It looked like it was just like the metal thing, and you put the slats in, and then you put the soil in, and boom, you're done. And I was like, wow, we should do that for the side of our house. So
It was easier than an IKEA table, that's for sure.
yeah, no kidding. So
Yeah.
it was fine. What about you?
So as we were watching it and we were criticizing it and laughing at it, and then after we took a break there and just cooled off a little bit because we couldn't handle any more Zac. And then there's lots of dreamy Zac shots of him,
In the board shorts. And
in the board shorts and in the water and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like walking around in board shorts in the in the jungle. Like there's one scene where he's in the jungle and he's got these really light colored pants on. I was like, that's a bad choice. Like, those are going to get dirty. Like, what are you doing?
he didn't read the research packet.
And he was sweating like a dog.
Oh, yeah,
like
totally.
he was wearing the wrong shirts and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Like he was just the stereotypical tourist. He was not prepared. It was like he just threw a bag in, like one of those light duffel bags, came off a bender and got on the airplane and then started these trips. So anyway,
He was the tourist in Eurovision Song Contest when they're like, "Is there a Starbucks?" And Will Ferrell is like, "There's Starbucks everywhere.
everywhere you look, there's a Starbucks.
Right.
But I was critical, and we were critical of it. But at the end of it, I was like, well, yeah, some of this stuck with me. Like some of the stuff about the geothermal heat, and some of the the Parisian stuff. Excuse me, and some of the many little tidbits there's probably a good tidbit in each episode that you remember. And at the end of the day, that's probably what the point is. And I was already aware that the environment is in trouble and that we're,
We're not climate change deniers, people.
right. And the world is a fire. We're not, I was already aware of that before that, but it's the individual stuff that was very interesting. And having been to a couple of these countries, it gave me a new insight. Like, I can't believe they went to Peru and they didn't go to Machu Picchu. Like they probably didn't even know that was there. Like they went sandboarding in Lima. And I was like, okay, that's what I would do if I went to Peru. But who am I to say? I'm not Zac Efron. So bottom line, I think you could jump into a couple of these if you like it, stick with it. They're sort of effectively serial, but I think you could watch them out of order if you want, as long as you don't watch the last one first.
Yeah, no. I'd say there's 8 episodes. I'd say if you're going to watch Paris, Iceland, Sardinia, and London.
Yeah.
Or maybe Puerto Rico.
Yeah. The Puerto Rican one, it was actually pretty good relative to the rest of it because they had a bit of a reveal. It was almost like an HGTV reveal.
Yeah.
For one of the people there, one of the families there that had their home destroyed in the hurricane. So, yeah, I give it sort of like I don't know, half a board short up maybe.
Yeah, I'd give it that.
Or a skateboard. Zac brings a skateboard, which is something that an American would do.
I know. I was like, I can't believe he brought his freaking skateboard to Paris. Like, oh my God.
Skateboarding around with his board shorts and his backwards hat. And it's like, oh, there goes an American.
Yeah.
But full points to Zac and Darren for trying.
Yeah, for trying to bring awareness to an issue that's going to kill humanity in 50 years.
Right. It's a very light touch to a very, you could say a light touch to a serious Very serious subject.
And if you'd like to hear our light touch on other serious subjects,
segue.
You can subscribe and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We are on Facebook and Twitter at Coco and Dalts. We are on the interwebs at cocoandalts.com, and you can email us at cocoandalts@gmail.com. Let us know what you think, what you want to hear us review in the future. Got any feedback for us on anything you've heard in the past? Let us know.
We appreciate your loyalty, listener. We know you have choices. We know you could be watching Bro Zac and Darren.
You could be watching the High School Musical trilogy on Disney Plus, but instead you're listening to us. So
there's a good question: the High School Musical with Zac, or Down to Earth with Zac?
Oh, I've never seen any of the High School Musicals.
Okay. Well, then neither have I.
I think I was like, when did the first one come out? 2005, 2006?
Yeah, early 2000s or mid 2000s, yeah.
If it came out in 2006, I was 30 when the first one came out. So I was well past the age of that being their target demographic. So I'm going to say Down to Earth.
So let me, just before we wrap this up, and the director is waving at me, but one key question that I want you to answer for me, and we have not rehearsed this, so be careful, listener. Get ready. Zac with a beard or Zac without a beard?
Ooh. I don't know. They're very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know him that well, but I liked him with the beard.
Yeah, he looked good with the beard. That was another way you could tell that they were not aired in order, was like some of the later episodes he had no beard, and then in a couple of the early episodes he was like full on mountain man, descending with the tablets. So, so no, he looked good both. I think I liked him better with like little to no beard.
Little to no beard.
Yeah. But
you don't like the shaggy beard.
Yeah, the shaggy beard can be a bit of a turnoff, but I don't mind the facial hair. What about you?
Oh, I like the beard.
You like the beard?
Yeah, well, I got a beard, so I got to root for the guy with a beard.
Anna Kendrick clean shaven, or Anna Kendrick with a beard?
Random Anna Kendrick appearance in one episode. Right. Here's my friend Anna Kendrick.
Like,
da, 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 da.
Like what? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're drinking water.
We're doing a water sommelier.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, now that we've extended this a little bit, I want to say thank you for joining us. And for another week, I'm not Coco.
And I'm not Dalts.